Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to HG Radio, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. Here is your co-founder and host, Kim Becker.
Hello, gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. This episode is brought to you by Amplified Marketing Group. They specialize in affordable mobile solutions that will get you noticed and help you retain customers. Check them out at yourphoneguy.com. Our guest today is Dr. Kimberley Linert. Kimberley is a creative visionary. She loves people, and it is her intention to make the people around her feel important and loved. Her vocations have always been in fields that allow her to inspire and help others to reach their highest potential and find meaning and fulfillment in their lives. She is highly trained in all areas of health and well-being, physical, nutritional, emotional, mental, and spiritual. People seek her out for her innovative healing process and treatments. Dr. Linert has the ability to assess a person and then create a healing path to their desired ideal state in which they are experiencing fulfillment as they fully express their talents and gifts. Dr. Linert received her Doctor of Ophthalmology degree from the Illinois College of Optometry. After graduating from college, she did a fellowship in behavioral optometry with Dr. David Cook. This began her journey of healing herself and her patients. She learned to look at people as a whole human being and to assess the different areas of their life to find out where their strengths and weaknesses were and what was blocking the person from reaching their goals in life. Along the way, Dr. Linert became proficient in Western medicine, physical health, natural medicine, optometry, nutrition, fitness and exercise, many emotional trauma clearing techniques, Reiki, bioenergetic medicine, kinesiology, vision therapy, brain rehabilitation, microcurrent therapy, laser light therapy, essential oil therapy, therapies that can increase intelligence and mental capacity, neurolinguistic programming, and energy medicine. People are multifaceted, and Dr. Linert's extensive education and experience has allowed her to help thousands of people who have visited her vision and therapy centers over the years. If you ask her who she is, she will say, "I am the light of love and healing in the world." Hi, Kimberley, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. You were on my show, Incredible Life Creator, earlier, and now it's my turn to be on your show. So I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm grateful that you were able to take the time. And I just want to I wanted to share with the listeners how we met. So we were actually at a conference in Dallas. I think it was like 4 years ago now. And we happened to be attending the same seminar and had a couple of conversations. And I love the work that you were doing and just trying to change people's lives. And so I'm so grateful that our paths have crossed.
Oh, me too. And that was an amazing seminar because it was how to, have an impact in the world. And I think that is, my wish and dream to have an impact in yours too.
Mm-hmm. I do. I remember, Wendy was the facilitator of that conference. And I still to this day think about something that she told me. And that was that as you speak, or whether it's a podcast, whatever it is, you want to be remembered beyond the parking lot. So you want your speech to be so impactful that when people get to work or back to their office or whatever it is after hearing you speak, that they remembered to tell somebody after they left the parking lot. And so I've always remembered that because I thought that's truly what my mission is. I want to impact people far beyond whatever they ever thought that they could be impacted, and certainly beyond the parking lot. I know that that's your dream too.
Yes, it is.
So tell me about where you grew up and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, well, I grew up in a small town called Port Huron, Michigan, and I lived kind of a sheltered life. I was encouraged to always be my best person growing up, although I was very, very shy, and I would not be the person who would speak up first. So here as an adult, becoming a podcaster and YouTuber and speaker and trainer, I never saw myself doing that, but I am doing it now. But I decided to go into the helping professions because I love helping and supporting people. And so I went into optometry, which is an eye doctor. And when I was in school, I did a rotation in vision therapy. And during that time, I worked with a little boy who is from the inner city. And vision therapy is a process of therapy and brain exercises where you help someone become more able. So this child came in, he was looking down at the floor. He looked like he was kind of sad, but he was very polite, very sweet boy. And I was just new learning. And so I started doing these processes with him to change his life. And after about 4 or 5 weeks, I noticed when he walked in that his head was up. He was smiling and he just seemed so much happier. So I said, Darren, since I'm kind of new at this, have you noticed anything change since we started working with you? Because you seem a lot happier. And he said, well, yes. He said, I don't feel stupid anymore. I said, what do you mean you don't feel stupid anymore? And he said, well, when I used to read, when I had to read out loud in class, everyone would laugh at me because I couldn't read. He said, but now I can read and nobody laughs at me anymore. So what we had worked on was, he had been seeing actually double when he was reading. And so we did the vision and brain exercises to make it so that he could comprehend what he was reading. And that experience touched me so much that, I could work with someone who really, he came from the inner city. His mom worked really hard just to pay for the therapy on a sliding scale. And they did the homework and, his life changed. And I thought to myself, if I could just repeat that over and over and over again, I could help thousands and thousands of people feel better, feel confident, feel more able. And so that was the fire under me. And so when I got out of school, I did a fellowship to learn how to do vision therapy. And it has enhanced my life as well as allowed me to just significantly improve the lives of people, like thousands of people. And after doing the therapy that I was taught to do and that I got better and better at, people's lives just changed so much. I had a little boy that came in and same thing. He was looking down all the time and he had one eye that didn't work. He was only seeing the big E.
Oh, wow.
And he was just he just looked so sad. And he came in wearing a patch on his eye. And by the time we got done with the therapy, first of all, I took the patch off right away. But by the time we were done, he was a 6-year-old. He could see 20/20 in that eye, and he won the state championship in karate.
Wow.
So,
wow.
And he could do his schoolwork again. So, kids who never would have been able to go to college or, have so many doors closed are open to them. And the same thing happened with adults. Adults have the same issues if they don't fix it when they're younger. And there's CEOs who are afraid to read out loud or afraid to, show their weaknesses because they feel uncomfortable. So going through the therapy, it makes them more able, more confident. So I just love helping people. I love seeing people do well. And at this point, after over 25 years, I don't even want to say how long, after over 25 years of learning and growing myself and just expanding my abilities to in ways of helping, I've just been able to really help people so much that it just fills up my life and fulfills me. And so I started the podcast because I wanted other people to find what was passionate, what was their skills, what was their special thing about them, so they can live fully engaged in life.
And what I love about the stories is that what you did was you changed the way that they saw things. So the little boy, when he didn't want to read out loud because what he saw was double letters, but you were able to recondition his brain so that he only saw single letters. So it changed what he was looking at. So what does our perspective, like our point of view, what does that have to do with the way that we see the world and ourselves? Because it's so interesting how just that shift, that minor shift in that little boy, it seemed like it changed the worldview for him. What does that do for us?
Yeah, anytime you change a perspective, you change the way things look. So even I use an example, it's so simple, but let's say you're sitting in church and you're sitting at the front row. You get a certain perspective. But then let's say next Sunday you think, I think I'm going to sit in the balcony on the right. All of a sudden, you see the picture of the whole church. You see all the people down there, you see the guy at the front. It totally changes your perspective, and all of a sudden you have more choices. So when you're just zeroed in on one little piece of something, if that piece that you're looking at is upsetting, you're going to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
But if you expand your view so it's bigger and wider and even come from a different perspective or point of view, all of a sudden you're like, wow, gosh, I could look up there at the front, or I could look at that lady sitting in the middle who's fidgeting, or I could be in the balcony and look out the window. You have so many more possibilities. So all I'm doing is helping people change their perspective so they have a lot more choice, which gives you more freedom, which makes you happier. Who doesn't want choices in life?
That's right. And so where do you think that like true happiness and fulfillment come from?
I think it comes from within. And I've done a lot of research on that because I wrote a book, Visualizing Happiness in Every Area of Your Life, and I did lots and lots of research for that book. And there's some interesting things about happiness. First of all, it's unique to each person. So for one person, shopping on Rodeo Drive, wearing the nicest clothes may be your dream. And for another person, living in West Virginia in the mountains in a double wide, but being able to look out your window and see a deer and shoot it and have it for dinner, that's someone else's dream. Mm-hmm. It's not the same for everybody. So it's always really different. The other thing I learned is that happiness is something we actually manufacture. So you can have an experience that makes you happy. So let's say you're riding a Ferris wheel and you're having fun, and you're having fun or happiness in the moment. But happiness can also be manufactured in our mind. So there was a study where some people were told, you've won a dinner for two at this really fancy Italian restaurant. You can go tonight or you can go in 2 weeks. And what do you choose? Some people chose going that night, but most of the people chose going in 2 weeks. And why did they do that? Because the thought of thinking about the appetizer, the yummy cheese, just thinking about that time where they're going to have with that special someone for 2 whole weeks, the anticipation and thinking about it, it let them enjoy the dinner for 2 weeks before they even had the dinner. Wow. And the brain couldn't tell the difference. The brain can't tell the difference between what we manufacture.
That's so interesting. And that's so true. So it really is. So, it's perspective, right? Just what you were talking about, even with the church, we had done that. My son broke his foot. And so when we went to mass, we had to sit in the front pew because that's where they had reserved for people in wheelchairs. And it was non-weight bearing. So he had one of those little scooter things. But our normal seat in church is through the back doors, like, 4 or 5 rows from the pews from the back of the church. But for that 8 weeks, we sat at the front of the church. And I'll tell you, my perspective changed because I was only concentrating on the altar and the priest and what was going on. And I wasn't looking at the lady that was fidgeting. And so my focus really turned to what was happening at the front of the church. When I went back, when, he was off of the scooter and had full range of motion and could walk, we went back to the back of the church. And I found that my focus turned to, just like what you said, everything else. So I can see how putting that dinner off for 2 weeks and focusing on something that will bring you joy that's coming soon would be way different than just having it right now. But it all depends on what you want. And that's the really great thing about free will, right? Because we can focus on whatever we choose to. Joyce Meyer always has she has a saying that I hang on to that just says you can be bitter or better. It's just, it's up to you as to what you want to focus on.
Exactly.
So how does changing our state enhance the way we feel?
So have you ever had a day when you're just feeling kind of sad or bad, or it's just not a great day? You wake
Yeah.
up and you stub your toe or something, and it seems like you're like, oh man, this whole day is going to be bad, but you can actually change your state quite quickly. And again, it's just all in your mind and how you think about things. So one of the ways you can change your state is just by changing your position. So if you're sitting down and you're kind of usually, if you're feeling bad, you might be laying back in your chair. Usually you're looking down, not feeling very good because you're kind of in your own mind. All you have to do is stand up, walk outside, go for a walk. When you do that, again, it's that same thing where your visual field opens up and you think about the possibility, you're open. And one thing that I used a lot with my clients in the past, and this really does actually reboot your brain and helps you refocus, is a mini tramp. You ever heard of a mini trampoline?
No.
There's these little round
Yes.
trampolines,
Yeah.
but they're small ones. Like I
Yes.
actually have one in my bedroom. I know that sounds crazy, but I have one in my bedroom. And if I get in one of those states where I'm just like in a blah, or I can't move forward, or I can't get motivated, I get my little mini tramp out and I turn on some music I like and I jump on that mini tramp for about 10 minutes. It totally reboots your brain, puts you in a totally different state of mind where you can think and clear your mind. It's a total pattern interrupt.
And that's true. That's exactly what it is. It's out of the ordinary, something that you need to do to just change it. Yes. Wow. That's awesome. That's great advice. So if you didn't have a trampoline, what else could you do besides just like standing up? Is there something else you could do that would just change your state?
I mean, just going outside and going for a walk, or just changing your body position at all helps change your state. But the more you move, the better it is. So whatever that is for you, because I know if you're at work and you're under stress and you're not allowed to even leave your seat or your place or your position, again, you can change your focus, even by looking not at the ceiling, but just if there's a place where you look kind of in between where the ceiling is and where the wall is, kind of where the wall and the ceiling meet. That's called a hakalau, which is a kind of a funny word. But anyway, somebody named it that. But it's a position where your eyes are up and out and looking not straight ahead, not up, but kind of in between. When you look at that place, that is the place where you actually do your most learning and you're most open to any intuition. And it's also your most relaxed state. So if you look up there, you're going to change your emotional state also.
Right where the ceiling and the wall intersect. That's where you should be looking.
Right.
That's
kind
awesome.
of just a little above where you're looking straight ahead.
So when you talk about, the things to focus on and changing your state, why is it important to ask for what we need and want? Why is it important to put that out there, to give that ask, as opposed to just keeping it in our mind and it's okay to think about it, but we have to ask for it? Why is that important?
So first of all, we hear so much of this about this law of attraction. Just think and believe what you want and say your affirmations and just really imagine and visualize it. And I agree with all that stuff. But if you have that, but you're not doing, then nothing's going to happen. And part of doing is you can do things alone, but most things, if you want to not only do something fast, but if you actually want to go far with something or do well with something, you usually can't do it alone. You have to have people to help you along the way. If you're going to do something really big and amazing, it's really hard to do by yourself. So in order to get help, you have to be willing to ask for help. And first of all, people can say no when you ask for help, but that's the worst thing that's going to happen. So many times we have fear around asking for what we need. So if you have a really big vision of life or the impact you want to make, don't be afraid to ask. They can only say no, and you don't have to take it personally because it's just a numbers game.
That's right.
And the more you ask, the more you receive. You can't receive if you don't ask.
That's so true. That is so true. And I think so many of us, women especially, we're selfless. And so we'd rather just do it ourselves as opposed to actually asking for help. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's great advice. What can we do to start the day that we would love and appreciate ourselves? What are a couple of things that we could do daily just to get ourselves off on the right foot?
I know everybody has a different morning practice. Well, a couple of things, simple things that I do that might sound a little crazy, but it helps me to get going in the morning. First of all, as soon as I open my eyes, I say to myself something I learned from Adam Markle, who has been teaching seminars for years. And I say to myself, I love my life, because I want to start out my day with a good vision. I don't want to wake up and stub my toe. And then as soon as I get out of bed, I stand in front of the mirror and I say to myself, good morning. I am loved today. I am the most amazing person in the whole world. Now that I do that, I put my arms over my head and I smile at myself and I say, I'm the most amazing person in the whole world. Because we have to be our best cheerleader. We have to get ourselves and our mindset ready. And we are perfect, beautiful beings just the way we are. Every unique piece of us. And we are amazing. And the best thing we can do is tell ourselves that and look at ourselves in the mirror. And you know, when you look in the mirror in the morning, at least me, my hair's a mess. Maybe you wake up because you're in a hairdresser. Maybe you wake up with yours perfect, but
no, it's not perfect. It's a mess. Let me tell you, it's a mess.
But you know, you're looking at yourself and you're looking a mess, but you're smiling at yourself and you're saying, you're the most amazing person in the whole world. I think that's the best way to start the day. I agree.
So we are almost out of time. So tell people, where can they find more information about you and the work that you do?
My website, it's very easy. It's drkimberleylinert.com, and it's drkimberleylinert.com. So if you go there, you'll find the podcast and you'll be able to contact me, or on social media, it's just Kimberley Linert.
And tell me about the books. Can we find your books on the website as well?
You can find it on the website also, or on Amazon.
Okay, awesome. Anything else? One last quick tip that you want to give our listeners that they can enjoy every minute of every day of their life.
You are so important and special and loved. So love yourself, be good to yourself, put yourself first, love yourself first, and go out into the world and make the impact you were meant to make.
Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Kimberley, for taking time to join us today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be my guest.
Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. If you have any questions or comments, or would like to know more about the guest on our show, or for more information about Hello Gorgeous, feel free to contact me at kbecker@hellogorgeous.org, or visit our website at www.hellogorgeous.org. We invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and download our mobile app. Thank you for joining me today on Hello Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and until next time, stay gorgeous.
Another beautiful day, walking in the sunshine, spending the time with you. Last night we had a good time, dancing in the moonlight and loving the night away. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like. I can't imagine what it'd be like without you. I can't imagine that.